Today, I'm back with another physical media topic video for you all. Today, I'm going to be answering the important question, does size really matter when it comes to your physical media collection? Of course. So we're going to be talking about this in our part 2 here. There was already a part 1, so if you missed that video, make sure you go back, go to the playlist, and check out that video when this one is over, of course. But for this part 2, we're going to be splitting it up into 3 different segments again. First, talking about the pros and cons to having an enormous collection. 2, talking about the pros and cons to having a small itty bitty collection. And then 3, finally, ultimately answering the question, does size really matter? And what's better, a bigger collection or a smaller collection? So make sure you stick around throughout the entire video to get that important answer. But without further ado, let's get started.
Does size count at all, or is that just some weird thing guys think about?
Now to get into the positives of having a big collection. Well, it may seem kind of obvious at first, but the bigger the collection, the more movies you have to watch. Yes, the more movies you have readily available, they're on the shelf. You can just pull them off the shelf, put it into the player, and you're ready to go. You got a movie to watch. That's why a lot of us collectors like to stock up on movies and have them ready to go on that shelf, which is great because then you get more movies to choose from, a bigger library of things to enjoy. You don't have to rely on streaming. Something gets pulled down from streaming. No, you got it on the shelf. You are ready to go. And also, you don't have to worry about renting a movie over and over again. If you do really like it, you already got it on the shelf ready to go. So that's the great thing about having a big collection. Also, another good point about having a big collection is that when people come over, your friends and families, they get to see your big collection and they realize, wow, this is a massive movie fan here. They start to talk to you about your big collection, and then you can basically share movie stories, and they can even go through the shelves of movies and pick out maybe a movie for you all to watch. So you can show them a variety of movies you've picked up, which is great to be able to display that, to display the things you really love and care about. So those are some great positives to having a big collection. But there are some negatives here that I don't think a lot of people always think about. First, we have to mention again the spacing issue. Eventually, your room space is going to run out. No matter how much space you think you have, the more and more you add, especially if you have a massive collection, eventually there's a cap off point where you're not going to be able to have more shelves. So what do? Do you put them in a storage bin? Do you start selling them off? I mean, you got to get creative in some spacing ways, but still there's always a limited space no matter how big the room size is. There just always will be that capped amount. So that's a negative to having a huge collection. And then sometimes it's just kind of tough to get around these shelves depending on how small the room is. You don't want to be tripping over shelves and just movies everywhere. I mean, it can start to overtake your house or apartment or wherever you might be. Yes, there can be some issues with that as well. So space, big issue. I have to mention that one again. But also another one we don't really think about as collectors is, hey, the bigger your collection is, the tougher it is to find the movie when you want to go and pull a movie off the shelf. Even if you do creative things such as alphabetize it or put it by genres or put it by directors or actors. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. But it's still harder to find movies the larger your collection gets. I realized that when my collection started to get large, it takes me a few more minutes to find a movie now. I have to go, even when I have it by genre, alphabetical order, I still have to go one by one. Sometimes it's hard to see the font title, so really I have to go through it. Sometimes I try to scan quickly and I miss it, and then I have to go back again. And I'm just trying to find a certain movie I want, but there's so many I like have to go by, and I'm like, oh my goodness, where is it? And then I think, oh no, wait, I'm in the wrong spot altogether. This movie has multiple genres. And I actually put it into another genre spot. No, now I gotta go to that spot. And it's a big hassle. The more movies you have in your collection, the harder it is to find a movie you're actually looking for ready to play. So it is something we don't think about as collectors all the time, but it does add minutes to us trying to get a movie playing and ready to go. Also, another issue is if you have a really big collection, there might be a lot of movies in there you really don't care about. You may have just been picking it up for the hunt factor, the collecting factor. You may have not even opened them up. never played them before, never even watched the movie. It may have been just a completely blind buy. You didn't even know about it, but the artwork looked cool. You just wanted to buy it, put it on the shelf. Or maybe you had a movie and you're like, oh, I want to get all the different art designs, all the slipcovers, steelbooks. Now you got 6 copies of one movie. You're never going to play those all, but then it's making the collection bigger. And now, once again, it's tougher to find certain titles there. But it's an issue. We get a backlog of collecting titles that we picked up for the hunt of it, right? We got so excited on the Blu-ray Tuesday. We got so many titles, but we just don't have enough time in the day to watch all the movies. So we end up getting these stock up backlog of so many movies we haven't even gotten through. And that's what happens with some of us collectors. We get so many movies in our collection and we just can't get through them all. And it's just like, oh man, I just spent all this money on these movies and I can't even get the joy of watching them, let alone really diving deep into the movies, getting to those special features of a movie you really care about. If you have such a big backlog of titles, you may not even get to the special features. You just have too many movies to get through. Not enough hours in the day, unfortunately. So that's some negatives to having a bigger collection.
I like them when they're really big.
And I think it's better when they're enormous.
Now, our second subtopic here, we gotta talk about the pros and cons of having a smaller collection. Well, a big positive is you are saving money on the movies you are buying because you're not spending as much on movies. So you're saving some money there, which is always nice to kind of help out the wallets and the bank, right? Also, you're saving on tons of space because when you start collecting more, we already know you get tons of shelves, you get disc racks. I mean, it just takes up so much space. You're tripping over disc towers, movies everywhere. It is no good. That becomes a total safety hazard. And yeah, it just can engross your room and your house and be taking over you, and that sometimes isn't the best thing to be around just because we all have a limited space no matter what. If you have just a limited selection of a collection of movies, it's not going to take up too much space, which is definitely helpful. Also, if you have a limited selection of movies, a limited library, you're probably collecting movies you really enjoy and that are some of your favorites of all time. Maybe it's like your top 100 you have on a shelf. You're going to watch those movies a whole bunch of times. There's that rewatchability factor there. Anytime you pick a movie off the shelf, it's one of your favorites. You're going to enjoy it. Other people are probably going to enjoy it too. If they check out your shelf and they just pull off one randomly, well, they know, hey, it's top of your collection because you own it. So it's going to be a really good movie for them to enjoy. And so that's great about having a limited selection and just kind of picking and choosing the movies you want in there because yourself, you're going to pick the ones you really enjoy. You're going to pick just your favorites that have the own to display to people, which can actually be really powerful because once again, when you pull a movie off the shelf, you're going to enjoy it. It's not like when we just have these massive collections, we're buying everything. It's a Blu-ray Tuesday hunt. We're getting excited. There's like 3 different slipcovers of a title, 2 different steelbooks. We start buying multiple titles, double dipping on these things, quadruple dipping. And then we have all this space taken up with all these movies that we don't even open the packages of sometimes. We just aren't getting to them. And then what happens? We just have a backlog of so many titles. They're just stacked up everywhere. And there's just only so many hours in the day. We can't get through them all if we're collecting too many of them, which is a massive problem. It's just basically a waste of money, a waste of space, a waste of just everything because we just can't get to it. Even though we may want to get to it and it's like, oh, well, maybe I'll get to it later. Maybe I'll get to it in a week or a month. It ends up years rolling by and we don't get to it because we just collected too much. Or we watch some of these movies and some of them just aren't the best. So they're not our favorite. They're not a movie we're going to go back to and watch a second time. So they're still taking up space on the shelf and they don't have any rewatchability. And it's like, why did I buy that one? Why didn't I just preview and check that one out maybe on streaming before or rent it before? And then if I really like it, buy it, add it to my limited collection if it did end up being one of my favorite movies of all time. I know as collectors sometimes we do just get carried away. We see a really nice slipcover, that awesome artwork. We don't know much about the movie, but let's take a chance on it. We get it and we're like, that wasn't that great of a movie and I just spent a lot of money on it. So my wallet is hurting right now and we're just kind of disappointed by that. So if you have a limited selection, you're more likely to have really the titles you watch a lot and your favorites in that limited selection because you're being very picky and choosy on what you're going to buy on physical media, what you're going to get on the shelf. So to me, that can be really absolutely powerful. But there are some massive negatives too to having a limited selection. If you have a limited selection, well, then you can't pick out as much movies to watch, right? You may go to the shelf to pull off a movie, and maybe it ends up being a movie you've now seen a dozen times. So maybe you like it, maybe it's one of your favorite movies of all time, maybe you'll get a decent experience out of it watching it again, but it's nothing new, it's nothing fresh to you. Whereas you have a big library of titles, tons of movies in your collection, a lot of times you can go and you can get something fresh. Maybe it is a year later and you pull off a title you didn't even open yet, but then you play something fresh, you really enjoyed it. So it's like, oh, that was awesome just to have in my collection because I did eventually find some free time and now I have a wide selection to go to. Or your friends and family as well. Maybe they see it on the shelf. Maybe you didn't open it up yet, but they're like, hey, can we check this one out? This one looks interesting. Okay, now you take it out. Now you play it. Everybody loves it. And it ends up being, oh, that was an awesome buy. I'm glad I bought that months ago and I had it on the shelf. Because maybe you did preview a movie on streaming. You forgot to buy it even though you liked it. And now it's pulled off of streaming. You can't get it there. And you're like, man, I wish I would have just bought it in the first place to have it in the collection just for that in case moment. So it is nice having more titles to select from at certain points, but you just get a variety of movies in your life, especially if you love a lot of different kinds of movies, a lot of different types and genres, then you just have more. It's like a buffet of movies for you to enjoy, which can be really powerful. But then also, once again, another negative there, you may have so many of them, you just can't get through all of them. They're taking up tons of space. And even when you're trying to look for something fresh, you're trying to go line by line, go through each of your shelves, you're going through it, and then you kind of just get lost in it, and you're like, wait, what was I doing? What kind of movie was I even looking for in the first place? Because you just went through hundreds of titles, and you just kind of got lost in your own mind going through it, and you're just like, I don't know what to watch now, and you just kind of throw in the towel there. So it can be an issue. Once again, having a lot of those titles, you just have too many to select from, and you just kind of get that anxiety there of what do I pick, and what if I pick wrong and it ends up not being so good. I mean, too many things could go wrong there as well with having a big collection. Definitely some issues. So there's some pros and cons to having a smaller selection.
Size matters not. Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you?
Now to get into our third and final point, we got to ultimately answer the question here. Does size matter? What's better, having a bigger collection or a smaller collection for us physical media collectors? Now, I know my personal preference is going to be way different than yours, so make sure you leave in the comments below. What do you prefer? And also, are there any strategy or tips do you have for how to collect? Let's leave that down below. So now for me to answer the important question, do I prefer a big, enormous collection or do I prefer a small, itty bitty collection? Well, for me personally, I'm going to have to pick the bigger, enormous collection because I'm such a big movie fan. I really like being surrounded by movies, so I'm happy to have movies everywhere in my living space just because you get to be a part of that environment, and it just looks so cool seeing all the different art designs on the shelves. It's just like being in a happy place, a good environment of movies, so I really do enjoy that personally. Also, I really like a lot of different kinds of movies. I don't think I could limit my selection at all because I want to explore movies. I want to look at different movies I haven't seen before, things that I might end up really enjoying, and I always get those excitement moments when I pick up a new movie, I watch it, and then it ends up being amazing. That is just the best moments ever. But it does happen sometimes where I do pick up some movies, they end up not being so good, and so I don't really go back and watch them. Yeah, that does happen sometimes to me. I have to admit that. But I still like the factor of just checking out those different movies because I like movies so much. I enjoy watching really any movie. Even if the movie doesn't end up being so good to my personal taste, I still like watching the movie and having that experience. So now I know for myself, you know, maybe this one wasn't for me, but at least I got through that journey of the movie. So I just enjoy watching movies that in general. Even if they're terrible, I still enjoy them. But if they're good, then yeah, that's like way high up their amazingness. So of course, I hope that they're all good. but doesn't turn out that way all the time when you're collecting. So I personally like that of having a bigger collection, being surrounded by the hobby. I enjoy so much because, you know, to me, movies are a big part of life. So it's just a great moment to be in that kind of environment. So I'd rather have that big selection rather than a limited selection. Yeah, limited selection, I would probably have my top 100 titles. I know each of those titles when I pull off the shelf are going to be great, which is a good consistent factor to have, but it's just going to limit me too much on movies, and then my movie knowledge and wisdom would not have expanded that much by just going back to the same movies over and over again. So that would be a massive negative to me. So me, I personally have to go with the huge, enormous collection. That's the way I do it, but I know everybody might be different on that.
Here's what I heard. Blah, 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 size, bigger. And bigger is better.
So that will do it for today's mega topic video. Does size really matter when it comes to collecting physical media? If you're just discovering my channel for the very first time and you love collecting physical media just like me and talking about it, make sure you subscribe right now, turn on that notification bell, because I'm going to get you tons of physical media topic videos and a lot of collection and hauls. And if you want to continue your physical media journey on this channel, make sure you click another physical media topic video in the playlist right now.
Well, we're waiting.
Also, like the video, and this is Mega Mike the Movie Man reminding you to make every day a movie day.